guys, welcome to the Whiskey Hideaway. Guess what? We are going to drink whiskey today, but we're not really reviewing it. Andrea is joining me once again, and she came up with a great idea to just do what she has coined whiskey and weird. So we're gonna have a little bit of whiskey, and we're just gonna talk about some random crap. And by all means, if you want to give us some any ideas for future episodes of this, if we do any more, and I hope that it catches on.
Yeah. Anything anybody wants to talk about. If you give us a topic, I think that would be fun. If like someone says one topic and we just see where it goes.
I have a few topics that we're going to just sort of throw out there. I don't know if there's going to be any conversation on it or not. I'm going to show you a couple videos and just get some reactions off of that. And but you know, I'm going to call this. She's whiskey and weird, but we're also going to call it, since we're sitting in a corner, really, the conspiracy corner. And we have the proper attire for such a corner. Okay. Andrea made these lovely, lovely hats that will keep the aliens from interrupting our brains while we're trying to drink whiskey and talk about weird crap. So we can't get this started without at least pouring a sip. And I've got a couple things here. I think we're going to start with the Nikka coffee grain whiskey. It's a little bit lighter. I don't think you've ever had a Japanese whiskey before.
Not.
And then we'll probably migrate over to a small sip of the Heart of Mystic Cacao Nib Bourbon. That one's a little bit higher in proof. At least open up your sinuses. You know. The first thing that I wanted to show you, and I don't know if you saw this on my Facebook page or not, but yesterday I took a video of some birds in my backyard. They were behind the shed. And it really kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was getting ready to go get my daughter from school, and, well, let me just show you here. And I'll pop it up on the screen in the edit so like you guys can see as well. But
what was it, birds from Alfred Hitchcock, like back in the day?
It felt that way. It really did. So let me see here. Let me go to my YouTube. My Facebook page, and I'll show you this video. So here's the video, and see all the birds in the background. Oh, then it stopped. There we go. Okay. So see all the birds in the background. Now watch. I was watching them for quite a while, and you could see they were all coming down into the yard, and then they would all come back up.
Yes.
Right, and they would sit in the trees for just a second, and then they'd all flood back down. And they did this so many times. I was like, this is so weird. And I was like, what are they doing? It looks like maybe the next door neighbors had maybe seeded their yard and they're just eating the seeds.
I was thinking that.
And it had just rained that afternoon.
And bugs.
You got the bugs and everything, but it was just like back and forth. They just kept doing it for so long. But then, as soon as I took this, I go pick up my daughter from school, I come back, and the next thing that I know, my friend Jason sends me this video. And let me just look up the video. It's from Mexico. Right? It was these birds in Mexico, and let's see where it's at. There it is, right here.
It just looked like they were dumped.
but they came down so hard that it killed some of them. They didn't all make it. They just fell down in a massive cloud of birds.
A bunch of them.
Yeah, and I was just like, what in the devil is going on with these birds?
Oh, that is so weird.
I thought that was.
What was the comments on it? All right. Oh, there wasn't.
I didn't see any comments on that particular post. But,
I was wondering if maybe from the original was there.
Yeah, I'm dumbfounded.
Like, was this some sort of free you can do 5G frequency? Hold on. Let me get yours back.
I know. If I take off my hat, I'm gonna fall on the ground, and I haven't even had a sip of the whiskey yet.
Yeah, we need to try this.
Yeah. Right. Cheers. What do you think of that? I didn't expect that reaction.
It's smoother. It is smoother than some of the
Right.
With the other stuff.
Yeah, it's not like a bourbon. It still has that alcohol content, but it has a lot of sweetness to it.
It does. Oh,
And,
it's still burning.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll warm you up.
Mm-hmm. That is very good.
I just got a new T-shirt for my dart league that I do on Thursday nights, and I wore it up there, and I love the shirt. I think it's hilarious, right? But I showed my wife, and she was like, "Yeah, no, somebody's gonna hit you. Some woman is going to smack you."
Okay, so
I got this. This is the shirt right here.
You want my opinion?
So I'm getting a female's opinion. Okay, and I'm sure there are others out there that are like, "Nah, your wife was right." You know.
Yeah, no, so, don't ask me about things like this.
So, in the messed up thing about this shirt, I don't remember purchasing it.
Were you drinking?
I think I drunk ordered this on Amazon. I was probably like, that's hilarious. I've got to get it.
It'd be.
Here we go.
Okay. I like it.
I think the artwork on it is great. The material, the quality of the material of the shirt, I was very surprised.
I kind of like it. It's cute. It's funny.
Cute, yeah.
It is a little dirty, yes.
Everybody knows what this means. So,
yes, but I think it's cute, and I like the art.
Yeah, it's like a pinup model.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
So.
Mm-hmm. And I like it. I do like it.
Good. See,
I would wear it.
Yeah, but Andre, you have a really good sense of humor.
Well, yes, and I think that's the big thing, is having a certain amount of...
And not being, because so many people see stuff like that, and they get, like, offended right off the bat,
Yeah.
And realize that it's just a joke. It's just a joke. We're having a little fun. It's a little sexual humor. It's fine.
People are uncomfortable with sexual humor, though. People are uncomfortable with just sexual speak at all,
well, you hear comedians do it all the time, but people in regular speak, they try and stay away from it. Of course, we also live in North Carolina. It's the Bible Belt. Not a whole lot of that going on in public.
People are a lot more polite here. Like, I'm from up north, and so there's a difference.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Pennsylvania myself too. I grew up. It was a little bit different. Forget the T-shirt. Have you seen most of the posters that are in here? Especially that one over there behind you.
Yeah.
None of these have a story, but we'll get to that later.
I would like to hear the story.
Well,
give me one story.
Yeah, that one right there, the Nicole Miss October right there.
That looks like an older one.
That is a very older one. In fact, a lot of the other ones over there, the Brooke Burke one on the other side, all of those I got and have had since, I guess, about the early 2000s.
I was going to say, this looks like about the 2000s. Like the color scheme, the way that it was, like the editing, the styling, the hair
Now, that
color.
one's obviously a new one. I got that one off of Amazon a while back.
Yes.
This one I've had so long because I love Kat Von D. And if I could be ever tattooed by her, that would be my goal for life right there. Just to get my next tattoo by her. But she
has a makeup line that actually covers tattoos and things like that.
Oh man, she's
I know,
done
right?
380 on that. Okay. So I came up. I was actually. You ever heard of Chat GPT?
Yes, I have.
So the AI where you type in stuff and then it gives you all this information.
Yes.
Okay, so I did that recently for a couple different things. I've been doing a lot of social media postings with it for my work. And it's really cool, some of the ideas that it generates. I may not use them specifically, but it gets my brain going so that I can sort of tailor it to however I want it to be.
Yeah.
Well, this one is like, okay, so this is kind of in the style of a podcast, me and you sitting here with our tinfoil hats on, right? But I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about. So here's some ideas. This says bad advice. This is the Bad Advice podcast.
Oh, yes. If you can't be like the model citizen, at least be a really bad role model. That way people know what not to do.
Exactly. So this one is, the podcast will give listeners terrible advice on a range of topics from relationships to personal finance. The hosts will do their best to make their advice sound convincing.
Oh, this is fun.
Even though it's completely ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you have all those podcasts where everybody, comes on the show and claims to be an expert.
Yes.
Let's claim to be experts at something we absolutely nothing about.
Oh, this is so fun. No, you know what? I feel like that's the majority of people. Like, they always have expert opinions.
Yeah.
But then you're like,
It's like I did my research on Facebook. Or I did my research on Google.
The 3-second video.
I looked up 2 things on Google. Now I'm an expert. And I think the entire country went through that, especially during COVID. It's like everybody suddenly became an expert on viruses and stuff like that, and it was like nonstop throughout that period.
The one thing that I did appreciate about COVID, though, and this is going to be a little bit weird, is the awareness it created for, like, washing your hands and keeping, like, space difference. Like, I felt like we only have, like, Walmart. We only have, like, a few stores here.
Right.
And when you go in, like, you'll have people hitting your car, reaching right over you.
You say
and
that.
so, with, like, when they're, like, 6 feet, I'm like, yes, can we continue that? Like, this is just how, like, society should conduct itself. Like,
right. Now, you're kind of the polar opposite of the way that I kind of function in society. It's like you enjoy, doing your own thing, being apart from folks.
Yes.
I mean, and in your personal time, you like to like to do a lot of gardening and stuff like that.
Yeah, gardening a lot of my activities are solo activities.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas mine, whenever I'm done working, what do I like to do? I like to go out to bars. I'm also a DJ. I like to be around people and be like in the middle of everything. In fact, last night, I just decided I'd been home all afternoon, and I just wanted to go out. It was about 8:30. I wanted to go check out a friend of mine who was doing a show downtown, and I walked down there, hung out for a little bit, but I found that the whole time that I was there, like, yes, I feel more comfortable when there is a bunch of stuff going on around me. Yeah. But at the same time, I really wasn't there to converse with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I found myself grabbing the darts and going back into their dart room by myself and throwing darts back there and listening to the music. Then I'd come out and I'd talk to some people. And then, before I left, I went over to 210 Nash. Mm-hmm. And I had like 2 drinks there. And I just sat at the bar by myself. I talked to Erica, the bartender, for a little bit. And then I just went home. So it was like nothing major, but I just enjoy being around a lot of people. Sort of like I feed off of the stress of, somebody's over here and they're getting just a little too drunk. And I'm just like, that's hilarious.
You're like, more shots.
Whereas more people would be like, oh, we need to get the hell out of here. No.
Well, see, I'm kind of, all right, so as much as I like to, like, do my own thing, I do love people watching. And I always like to see where things go. Mm-hmm. And with, like, less intervening. Or like just little, like, you leave like little breadcrumbs to like navigate people through things. Social experiments, I do like those. I enjoy those a bit. So
I have a lot of fun whenever I'm out at the bars, and I've run into this more often lately, that I'll be sitting there and I'll be sitting next to somebody who's also drinking whiskey, and then they start talking to other people about whiskey, and then they get into this long drawn out conversation about what is best and tastes and flavor profiles and this and that, and I sit there and I say nothing. Even though I've got this channel and my Facebook page and everything, I say nothing. I just want to hear what they're talking about and see what their perspective is. You know what I mean?
What comes out of that typically? Do you get new, like, do you find out new things, or is it typical, like, regurgitation of? Or is there a lot of misconceptions?
There are a lot of misconceptions. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head, but
I think with some of it, it's like, see, we need to put our antennas on it. Yeah. That way we're able to like reach up and receive messages. Right. But we're still protected. Right. So we do need the.
We got the antennas going.
We need the antennas.
Maybe I can make some horns out of this. I don't know. Okay, I got off topic. All
right,
so we've got the Bad Advice podcast. Now we have a few different topics here. I actually got 9 different ones. Okay. And let's see if we could pick one and maybe work off of that.
Okay.
And I'm going to have and this is going to be a real tough one to open. For whatever reason, this cork doesn't like to come out. That's the easiest it's ever come out. I don't have to get a knife. Now, this stuff is strong, so I'm not going to pour you much.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I'm pouring a little bit more for myself, but...
I even got, like, I have plan B, because that's how I am, just in case I get a little bit too tipsy. I have a ride just in case.
Okay, well, we're not going to get too crazy. But I'd like you to really smell this one before we get into this next part.
Oh, that smells nice. You can smell the chocolate, like is it nibs?
Yeah, cacao nibs.
Yeah.
Really dark chocolate.
Oh, that smells really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
It smells enjoyable.
This one is out of a distillery, Mystic Distillery in Durham.
Is this the heart one that you were kind of telling me, like the middle of the
this
barrel?
is the
good
best of
stuff.
the best.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
What do you think?
That's good. With only a little bit of a minimal, like...
Yeah, because, well, this one's right here. That's 100 proof.
Oh, wow. It's really well done then.
And this is 45, so that's 90, 90 proof.
This one almost feels a little bit rougher than...
Yeah, that one did have a bit more burn than this one.
Yeah, is it the way that it's distilled, do you think, or the way that
it's the way
it's done?
finished? I think it kind of the proof is still there, but the finishing with the cacao nibs, I think, sort of mellows out the burn.
Yeah, and the bitter in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is nice. This is
that one's dangerous, right?
Yes, it is.
And it's probably good that it comes in these small bottles too.
You could just like rim a little bit with like caramel or something like that. That would just be.
Well, wait till you see
nice.
the old fashioned that I'm going to make here in a little bit, because it's the most luxurious old fashioned that I have ever made, probably. All right, so here's the topics.
Bad advice.
All right, so the first one: how to get rich quick by investing all your money in a pyramid scheme.
Oh, yes.
Tips for
the Lulu leggings, or what was that the thing? Or
what?
Lulu, or what was those?
Lululemon?
Yeah, like the leggings.
Yeah. I actually have a friend of mine out in Colorado that she does reviews on activewear. Because she's really big into working out, and then she does a whole lot of reviews on different Amazon hauls that she has, and I'll put a link to her YouTube page on here. Here's another one: tips for successfully shoplifting without getting caught.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know about that one. How to get over a breakup by immediately jumping into a rebound relationship.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a fun one. We've all done that. I think we're all experienced at that.
It happens to all of us.
Yep.
Ways to cheat on your taxes and get away with it.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, that one might be a little tricky right there. IRS, you did not hear this from me.
Well, we have these on, so we're fine.
Oh, that's true.
Yes, yeah.
How to avoid paying rent by squatting in your neighbor's house.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I say, an AI came up with these, not me. Tips for losing weight by only eating junk food.
We could totally do that.
Yeah, tips by only eating junk food and whiskey.
I think we could do that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I think that's a good one.
See, how to win an argument by always interrupting the other person.
Yes.
How to make a great impression on a first date by talking only about yourself.
That one's fun too.
Damn.
Yeah. I've had dates like that.
Really?
Oh yeah. So I always said I wouldn't date like drug reps, doctors, lawyers, and marketers. Mm-hmm. And well, now I'm seeing an attorney, so that has changed a little bit. But his personality's, a little bit different. But it was because, like, marketers or like drug reps and marketers to me are kind of like the same thing. Like they're just
okay, yeah.
And they're especially like when I was like in office and things like that. Like their aggressiveness and like their persistency.
They've got a driving force behind whatever it is they're doing.
Whatever, and it's just high energy. They just make me feel like static because they're like like it's always like whatever kick they're on, it's like full throttle.
Yeah, like they've had 18 cups of coffee, and
yes.
they've got to get you on their side.
Yes, and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
And the last one here, how to get a promotion at work by sabotaging your colleagues.
All right, which one do you want to do?
Well, let's see. I think that you were really excited about the tips for losing weight by only eating junk food. I think we should go with that one.
Well, I do like junk food.
Yeah.
I do.
So how the hell would we lose weight by?
Oh, absolutely. I have a plan
There
for
we go.
this. Yeah, I can tell you. I
Okay.
will lay out the plan. And so what you actually need to do, it's how much you eat at one time. Okay.
Oh.
That is the key.
Okay.
That's the key. And it's in the combinations that you eat it.
But it's a diet consisting only of junk food.
Right.
Okay.
But it has to be, it's the way, it's all right, so, say you're eating wafers, like those, vanilla wafers.
Right.
You would have to pair that with an apple butter. That's the...
Well, there isn't much to a wafer.
Right.
I mean, it pretty much just crisps apart in your mouth. And
Right.
It's like...
So then, you take the vanilla wafer,
Okay.
and you have to dip it in the apple butter.
All right.
And then you have both your fruits.
Right.
Well,
okay, but with the all of those things, I know that there are different types of. We need to make a distinction on what the junk food is, because most people, when you think junk food, you're thinking candy bars.
Oh, see, I don't think
or
that.
Skittles.
Yeah, see, when I think of junk food, I think of like potato chips and ketchup with a little bit of A1 sauce. Or those vanilla wafers with apple butter, because then it tastes like apple pie.
Well, okay, so you got potato chips. How about, what about, French fries? Could that be considered junk food?
I think so. Like French fries and a good milkshake.
Yeah.
See, I think balancing, like when you eat junk food, you just have to balance it right. And then your stomach it just takes care of it. And so so if you're eating junk food, I figured it out.
Okay.
That if you're eating something salty, you have to pair it with something sweet, and then it negates it. It doesn't exist because you've balanced it, and so then the calories are just gone.
I just recently watched a YouTube video, and I'll link it in the description. That had how long can you survive if you were like apocalyptic situation and you were locked in a supermarket, just you, nobody else could get in, and you have to survive strictly by living in that supermarket. Now, obviously, a good portion of the foods in there are only going to last for a little bit. And if you're talking about an apocalyptic situation, a lot of the refrigeration units, water's out.
But they have salt. You can start curing that.
There you go. There you go. You can take the meats that are in there and start curing those meats to make them last longer.
The eggs can go in like lime or something like that. Well, they unfortunately wash the membranes off. So that, if they would have, if stores would keep the membranes on, they would actually have a longer shelf life.
Is there any type of stores that do? I mean, like
just backyard, and then even a lot of backyard. If you're getting eggs from other people, a lot of times they like them cleaner.
Right.
You want your eggs dirty because then the membranes are on it, and they'll last a good amount.
Speaking of that, and I'm just randomly going off onto another topic here, I had some eggs this morning, and that there was a whole huge egg shortage.
Yes.
I think the egg shortage is done now because I just went to the grocery store and got a dozen eggs and it was only like $3. Yeah, expect it. Where it used to be like, like $6, $7, depending on what kind of eggs.
7, 8,
I like
9.
the brown free range eggs. I don't really care for the regular white eggs or whatever. But I got whatever was there because they don't have the free range eggs right now.
Yeah.
And they're still limited, but the prices are going down. And the eggs that I did buy, and I don't remember which brand they were, but like as I'm cracking it into the pan this morning to make a couple fried eggs, I noticed that when I cracked it, normally you crack it and it comes right open and you drop the egg. The membrane on these eggs are extremely hard to get through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to break the yolk doing this thing because I can't get it out the thing.
Was it like the shell that was very hard?
Yeah, the shell would come off and the membrane was still there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you'd have to tear the membrane in order to get the egg out. So I'm just thinking like, it must be because of something in the food chain when they're trying to get these egg supplies back up from, because I think one of the main reasons for the egg shortage was was the bird flu or something like that. Some type of flu that the chickens had, and it killed a lot of the chickens or whatever. I don't know. At least that's what I read. Yeah. And like I said, only do a couple Google searches, and you're a freaking expert.
Yes. It was so since we have the hat on,
right?
We'll say that it was like absolutely the food chain, like because that's where it was absolutely
not somebody trying
the food
to jack
chain.
up the prices, right? I also heard it was bird feed. That there were certain companies that were tainting the bird feed so that there was only specific egg suppliers that could, that were producing all the eggs while everybody else's chickens weren't laying any eggs.
You know what's sad is none of these like when conspiracies like this happen. Like to me, I always like to look at it and be like, okay, what is absolute, what can be possible, and what can be probable. And there's a big difference between possibility and what's there's a difference,
right?
And so I always find it interesting, like that's one of the things that I'll just kind of start separating, like, okay, does this even make sense?
Right.
So but the sad thing is I could totally see that because people are so petty and assholes that I could totally see that. And then
if you present something to somebody and it could be plausible in your mind, then it kind of puts that seed in there and that seed grows.
Yes.
And I think that's a lot of what comes out of the mainstream news media, and of course everything, every other post that you see on social media as well.
Yeah. So
it's sad, but it's true.
One thing with like the egg, and I don't know if you know this, but like chicken farmers and things like that, they'll grade you. So like if say you work with Tyson chickens.
Right.
They'll grade your facility, and then they'll, like, depending on your grades and things like that. So a lot of small farmers, a lot of times they don't have a leg in the race.
Right.
But, so you get this grade, and then Tyson will be like, okay, we're going to give you this amount, or, and you'll get, like, the better things, but you get graded as a chicken farmer, which I didn't know.
Wow. Okay. So, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. And then, like I said, you almost kind of get, if your grades aren't high enough, you get kind of snubbed on a bit. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay, we got off topic.
Okay, we did. I was selling the junk food.
I know, right?
All right, hold on.
Junk food.
I think I got to pull this off because all this hair and
yeah,
clothes.
I know. I'm sweating underneath this thing. Look, oh my gosh. It's the studio lights. They're making it really hot in here.
All right, this is my thermals from when I blacksmith, so I have a bunch of burn holes in it. So, excuse us because I was out working. I'm gonna
have to throw. She did some blacksmithing last year.
Yes, primitive blacksmithing.
And that was out west in North Carolina, right?
Like Pilot Mountain, kind of. Okay. It wasn't very far. It was a great trip. I can send you the information. Yeah. And the guy who does it, Bo, is like wonderful. And you go there, you meet his wife, and they're just kind of very magical beings. And so you pay this amount, you take your tent, and you pretty much camp there for a couple of days, but his wife feeds you like 5-star like restaurant quality food. It's amazing. And then it's just in such like a loving and caring, like it's just a great environment to learn.
I mean blacksmithing, what does that involve?
Yeah, so primitive blacksmithing involves where you dig a hole. Well, first you make your equipment, like you make the
bellows.
Bellows, thank you. I wanted to say bevel, but that is actually, for needles, there's a bevel, which is like at the end point of a needle, which is where the hole's at. That's called a bevel. So bellows. And so you make your bellows, and you have to like put the rubber on and everything. Right. But he teaches you how. Okay. And then you set up camp. You do all of that stuff, and then like the next day is kind of like when you start really jumping into things. Like the first day is just building bellows and meeting everybody and just kind of getting acclimated to the new environment. And then so the next day you start digging your holes and then and there's certain ways that way you can put down your instruments, that way like airflow can get through and things like that. And so you build that, and then you'll put your metal on that. And then so you work pretty much on the ground because you're digging a hole into the ground and
Right.
that's where you're working. And your coals have to be a certain temperature, so they have to look a certain way, like how's the glow.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have your anvil, and then you'll get taught like a bunch of techniques. Like if something is round, you're not going to be able to elongate it. So you have to make it into like a square. So then you start beating the sides, and then you can like beat it and
So it's therapeutic. You're pounding the crap out of stuff. Okay.
It is. And the way that he teaches, like I was kind of worried, maybe I'm a little too small or things like that. But the way that he taught it, it made it possible for me. The only thing that I had a hard time doing is some of the instrument, like the tools are very big. So if I needed to bend something, like I was like having to like use the anvil and things like that just to, and then put my weight into it to do it. Whereas some of the other people, they were just.
Yeah, you've got like 6 foot guy over here.
And he's like,
there's no problem.
Yeah.
And you're over here, little help, please.
I'm like, well, I'm just like, I don't ask for help, right? Can't ask for help. Toxic. So then I would be like, okay, I got this. I'll just stand up higher, I'll use more weight.
Nice.
So, yeah. But it's great.
And that was like a week-long thing?
It was a weekend.
It was just a weekend.
Yes.
Okay.
But like I said, you go there, it's totally worth the money. Like, just the food that you get and being away. And then, like, the blacksmith thing was like, and we took, at that time, we took my partner's oldest son, which was 12, he was 12, almost 13. And he was able to do it and things like that. So it was neat, yeah.
Okay. Now, how would this translate into your normal everyday life?
It doesn't, but that's my hobby.
Okay. So,
yeah, my hobbies are bullshit. Like, that's just...
So it's like, tomorrow I'm going to go skydiving.
Right.
And then after that, we're going to learn how to make mead, or something like that.
No, that is my day. Like,
Yeah,
I will learn, like, I just recently taught myself needle felting.
Okay.
And then so I made like a bunch of fish, like, so it's like blacksmithing one day, needle felting the other.
I mean, I'm kind of on that same level outside of, I don't normally go outside of my box in order to learn things. As far as, like, if I want to, like, I've heard a lot about the Chat GPT thing. So I wanted to go online and experience it for myself and see what it could happen, And I think that the inspiration that it brings to my job is a good thing. Then there are other AI things that I think take away from my field of business, which is being creative, and that is the ones that actually create. You type stuff in and it creates actual artwork for it.
Yeah.
And I don't like that because you look at it, it's amazing, but I'm like, I want to know the person behind that artwork, and there is no person behind that artwork.
Well. And I think this is kind of where we're at with that is people that are looking for that connection are still going to find real artists.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually
unfortunately,
heard that somebody had an art style that was very similar to what an AI produced. And then they were like, well, wait a minute, this is my specific style, but now a computer's being credited for it. And that's raising all kind of controversy for that.
Fortunately, I think with AI, it'll never have that personal touch. Like, it won't. It can tell you how to say. What I was reading is like this rabbi put in like a sermon on like intimacy and things like that, and one of the big things that he pulled away from it was. Even though everyone loved it and it sounded intelligent, it lacked a certain amount of empathy. Because it's just ticking boxes because it's that's what it is.
Well, it's just extrapolating the keywords that you feed into it and making something out of it. Now, there's also other things like, kids have been going on there and typing in certain stuff, and it'll create entire essays for them that they're turning in at their schools.
How nice would that have been?
I know, right?
Like, I don't know.
When I was a kid.
I don't know. Like, this would have been great.
I mean, we didn't have smartphones when I was a kid, so,
We had, so when I started college, we had, it was like still the big clunky computers. We had floppy disk.
Right.
There was a transition to flash drives.
Mm-hmm.
But even for one, what was it like? It was like 16. I don't even, like, it was so low. It was like not very much.
Oh yeah, I was watching something.
And it was so expensive too.
An entire computer that had only like 256K of memory. I'm
yes.
like, how? How did you function?
Yes.
I don't know.
But it did.
Yeah.
And it did what it was supposed to. We have too many expectations.
I know.
Think that's
Everything's now, 18 terabytes of freaking storage space. And they're like, how would we ever fill this up? Well, if you're an animator, you know.
Yes. Remember AOL? When it
yeah.
first came?
Yeah.
And so to me, like, when I get impatient, I just think back to that because I always want things to work faster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why aren't you working, or why aren't you faster? But then I stop and I go, and then I'm like, okay, I can chill,
I remember being on AOL, and this was back probably late 90s, and I'm sitting at my house. I lived in Brown Summit, North Carolina, and I'm sitting in my house, and I'm on the computer, and I'm like, oh, look, there's a video file that I can watch. Okay? You click on it, and you wait half an hour for it to load, and then you can watch it. There was no buffering.
Oh, remember ripping and burning? Like music and...
LimeWire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Napster and all those.
Yes,
Oh, my god.
waiting for the songs, like, okay, I'm making this playlist. It's going to be good.
See,
and like 4 hours later.
And I definitely, being a DJ and everything, way back in the day, when I say way back in the day, it was like 2009. When I first was a DJ, and all my songs I ripped from my CDs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't have a song, and I didn't want to go out and buy the whole CD, I got on LimeWire, and I would go and I would try and download a new popular song. And every once in a while, because you're basically, I know, right? Government, don't hurt me now. Okay, so I would get on there, and I would download a song, and I'm sitting there waiting for it to download off of somebody else's computer in the world. And there was people out there that really liked to mess with everybody. They would find popular songs, and they would make an MP3, but it wasn't the song. So once you downloaded the MP3 and you brought it up to listen to it, it was like, ha ha ha.
Why are people trolling?
Yeah.
Why are people like this?
Like,
I don't understand.
You downloaded this, and now you can't use it because it's not the song you thought it was.
4 hours later, and you're like,
know.
my life.
Yeah.
A quarter of my day.
And I still know people, even to this day, and even with all the streaming services that are out there, and I have a really extensive DVD/Blu-ray collection because, even with all the streaming stuff, your internet goes out, that's not going to do you any good.
Especially here.
So,
I mean,
we have a lot of power outages. And
I had better service on an island in Alaska than here.
Right.
I had better connection and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what's happening here. It makes no sense to me why cell phone and internet does not work here.
I live in the middle of town, and my internet service, my cell phone service, would probably not work as well as it does unless I wasn't connected to my Wi-Fi. Because if I wasn't connected to my Wi-Fi, I think I have like one bar.
Yes.
And I live in the middle of downtown Lewisburg. Yes. Probably doesn't help that I live in a brick house, but I mean that shouldn't matter that much. I don't know.
Well, even going through town, it's like you'll have like good service, and then it's like no service, and I mean,
if I drive from here and I go over to the Ace Hardware, if I'm sitting in the Ace Hardware parking lot, there's nothing. It is dead zone right there.
Yes. But if you pull out and you go right, you do get better service. But if you go left, those bars go down.
Well, if you go to Food Line, right? If you're in the Food Line grocery store, if you're in the front of the Food Line grocery store, you're fine. As soon as you get to the deli counter, you're in no man's land. You got to hook up to their Wi-Fi, and their Wi-Fi is a little, but it's still Wi-Fi, And I'm like, I used to have this thing that was connected to my refrigerator because I have one of those smart refrigerators.
Yes.
And I used to keep my shopping list on that. And then I would bring up my little Samsung app and look at my shopping list. Well, you get up there, you can't do it because you have to be connected to the internet.
Yeah, this is small town living.
I
Like,
know.
you can't.
First world problems.
Right, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We can't just write it down on paper. I gotta use my phone.
Gotta use your phone and make it more complicated than what it needs to be.
We go into the zombie apocalypse, we're all screwed.
I can't wait, honestly. I don't know if that's like the anarchist in me or something, where I'm like, just let everything burn.
Well, she's already got like what, a half an acre or something like that of farmland going on in the middle of on the outskirts of town where nobody will bother you.
Yeah, we do. We have.
I had to take that off. I'm sweating again.
It does, like it is getting warm.
Do you want another drink?
I can do another drink.
Do you want to try one of these, or do you want to try something different?
We can move into the cocktail if you want.
Cocktail time. Okay, cocktail time.
It is.
You ready?
Yes, let's do this.
All right. So the last time I made one of these cocktails, at least in the last video, I didn't put it on video. So I'm gonna actually put it on video this time, so you can see what I'm doing.
Did you edit it? Because I know last time I talked to you, you said it was very rich, very decadent. So are you doing some edits on this one? Or?
I'm gonna dial back the chocolate.
Okay.
Because before I put like an ounce of it, I'm just gonna put like half an ounce to dial back that chocolate a little bit. But there is so much in this, and I probably won't put. I normally I got these Luxardo cherries, which are very rich, and for a lot of my old fashions, I like to put some of the Luxardo cherry syrup in there, and I think that was just giving it a little too much sweetness. So I'm only gonna
look at these.
Sure, yeah.
Ooh, look at that juice. Oh, this is nice thick syrup.
I know.
Nice and dark. Can I open and smell it?
Yeah, a jar of that. Will probably run you about $25.
I'm gonna need you to open that.
Okay.
My hands are lotiony.
There you go. There.
Oh, that smells really nice.
Yeah, it's far and away so much better than if you were getting like a maraschino cherry or something like that. All right, so glasses.
There's that.
All right, and for today's cocktail, we have the nice big. Get it separated here. Ice sphere.
Ooh, fancy, fancy.
There we go. And then what we're gonna do, get our ice into the cup, and from here, we're going to get our cherry. Just pop that in there. It'll go down to the bottom as that ice melts a little bit when we stir this up. Now, I'm not going to put the cherry juice in there, but I really do love the cherry juice. Right. So, instead of simple syrup, we're going to use Mystic Distillery's Bourbon Barrel Aged Maple Syrup.
Nice.
Okay, so that's just going to give the real sweetness in here. Just going to
and what did you call this drink again?
Call it the ultimate old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned, okay.
Normally you would use simple syrup, which simple syrup is just sugar and water dissolved into each other. So that one's going to be a little bit more on the sweet side. So now I'm going to take an ounce of coffee grain whiskey. And I got this thing out. And I totally forgot that I wanted to put this in there because I wanted to mix it up there.
Yeah.
You know what? Forget that. We'll do it this.
Yeah.
This is the way I normally do it in house.
Yeah.
So we'll just do that.
Absolutely.
I was gonna try and be all fancy about it, but
yeah.
screw that.
I ain't a fancy. Well.
So now we need a little bit of chocolate, as they say in SpongeBob. Chocolate. You ever see it?
My
Remember
daughter.
that?
Well,
The chocolate candy
yes,
bars.
Yeah,
okay,
my daughter. She watched SpongeBob. Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to just put half an ounce in there. Okay. Now we need some bitters. So first off, we've got some regular Angostura bitters. And lastly, put the top back on that. Dang. Then we have some blood orange bitters.
Ooh, yummy.
All right.
And so you tend to do a little bit more orange than...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you put too much of the regular Angostura bitters in there, it can kind of mess up your cocktail. Some people like, a lot.
Can I smell that one? Can I smell the original? Not the orange one.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Sure. Here you go. And a lot of people don't realize that bitters is actually, it's got alcohol in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of distilleries make their own bitters.
Yes.
All right. And last but not least, and I love to do this all the freaking time with my cocktails, we gonna smoke it?
Okay, we can do that.
Cool.
Can I sip it first before you smoke it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Take a sip, see what you think.
Good. Not bad.
Let me see.
I like it with the ice.
Oh. That is very good.
It is.
All by itself.
Yeah, I don't even, smoking's nice, but...
Yeah, I think we'll stay away from the smoking right now. I think that's good all by itself. I was, the last thing that I was going to do was I was going to smoke it with applewood, but that might add a little bit too much sweetness. And that's what I was trying to stay away from, especially with the with that cherry juice.
Yeah.
Because that adds a lot of sweetness to it.
You could do like a little bit of cherry juice instead of smoking and see how that works.
Sure. That way we're just doing a little bit at a time and not throwing it all in.
Like just a little spoon. Or even like rimming it would be... Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. This is nice.
For most bartenders, that cherry juice is like liquid gold.
Yeah. This is very sippable.
Mm-hmm.
Very sippable.
Well, I mean, look, you've got those two whiskeys. You've got that one right there that you were like, whew, that's probably a little harsh. And then this one that's really nice, but also very high proof. So...
This, I think, would be dangerous for me. Like,
yes.
This goes down very nice. It does.
Cool.
Good job.
Thank you. All right. Back to the conversation. Okay, we got our cocktails. Still got a little bit of this.
I finished mine. I think I'm ahead of you.
I think I poured a few extra while we were talking.
Yeah. People are just really looking for connection. That's, it's why I take so much time with each of my clients. Because they're clearly coming in there, they're trying to get pain relief, but then they're also looking for some sort of connection.
Right.
And so I allow them to talk. I allow them to come in casually and leave casually. Mm-hmm. Just because it gives people kind of their own little space, I guess.
Right. And for those of you that don't know or haven't seen the prior video that Andrea was on where I kind of plugged her business.
Yes.
She is a massage therapist and life coach.
An herbalist.
Yeah,
and
she's doing a lot of things.
She's
got some business stuff that's coming up that you probably will want to hear about, but we'll talk about that in a later video.
Yes.
But guys and girls, we've been talking a lot about a lot of stuff. And I know that some of you are probably going to be, in the comments at least, I'm sure you're going to hate on this subject, or you're going to hate on this. And that's fine if you want to hate on that. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video.
Oh my goodness.
And you're just now thinking, you know what? I want to really rip on them. Go ahead. Give it to me. I don't care. Yeah. Don't hate too much. The more hate you have in your life and the more hate that you project on other people, it's not a good thing.
No, it's about action versus reaction.
Yeah,
and hate and anger is all reaction. And people think, and you can absolutely say horrible things, but guess what? Neither one of us care. And so then that you're just utilizing your energy for something. You're giving other people your energy, which is weird to me.
You see all these videos like on TikTok, which I do not have anymore. I gave it up about a week ago, and thank God I've produced so much stuff in the last week without being drawn into let's swipe. Let's continue to swipe. But no, there is so many people out there that what people refer to as Karens or Kevins, and people that are out there just strictly in their own bubble and being hateful towards other people, and that's what they feed off of.
That's their so an angry bot an angry or hurt body can only receive hurt. An angry body can only receive anger.
Yeah.
And so when people are in that state and they're so angry, only thing that would even register to them at that time is more anger. I had this situation, and you'll find this interesting. I love going and getting chair massages at like random places, just like, wherever.
I've never had a good experience
No,
with that,
but it's always great. Like, I just always
Yeah.
like it. It's always like a little weird or something like that.
It makes me feel awkward when I'm in a mall and somebody's rubbing on me.
I like that though. I like to see, like, I don't know. I don't know. But I'll go to like random places and just try it.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman walked in, and this is like an Asian style massage place.
Okay.
And if you tend to go into those places, you'll see that a lot of times you can just walk in.
Yeah.
Like with mine, I have to have appointments. I'm the only person there. And
I've been
booked.
to massage places in airports.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that setting.
Yeah.
And traditionally, a lot of times, like in their marketplace, and it's noisy, and you keep all your clothes on and things like that. So
Right.
it's just a different style. And so this woman came in, this much older lady, and she had to have been maybe 60 or 60 or so, probably even older with the way she was walking.
Right.
But she got upset because she could hear a lot of the noise. Well, the rooms are not full rooms. And so to me, you're walking in this. It's an Asian style massage. You see that there's no full walls. How quiet did you think it was going to get? There's like 10 people in here. And so the expectation.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people's expectations are off. Like they go into situations expecting something or wanting their day to be a certain way.
I think Yelp really had an influence on that too. People like to think that they're sort of an expert at certain things. Like when I go out to eat and I have certain foods and whatever, and I don't get exactly what I wanted, I'm a bit of a bitch about it, And
yeah, and I mean, but only to a certain point. You're not going to walk into.
No.
You're not going to walk
No.
into a. You're not going to walk into a strip club expecting a sermon. May you get one? Maybe, right? But is that what you're expecting? No. So it's your expectation. So she was in there expecting like the spa serene. I was in there wanting just to get my knots worked out.
Right.
Like I already knew what it was.
Right.
And I went to go explain that to her because no one spoke English.
Oh, wow.
It was very high.
Yeah.
Bye, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was very minimal, which that's kind of the way that it is. And so I went to intervene because I could see the distress on her. Because she was like, I need to talk to your managers. Well, guess what? There is no manager here that's going to be able to talk to you, ma'am.
No.
And so I just wanted to help her and explain to her, but like, hey, I realized this wasn't your idea of a massage. You should look for a different place that would suit your needs. And that's all that I was going to say. But she turned around and she was pointing. So here I am. I'm in my chair massage, and the poor lady behind me is like working. She gets right into my face and she's doing this. And I'm like,
Damn.
I'm like, ma'am, you're upset. Keep your fat, ugly nose out of this, you bitch. And I'm like, and so I'm sitting there, and I'm always calm. And I'm like, ma'am, you're just angry. And I'm like, this isn't the situation. And I'm like, you're literally disturbing everyone, which was what you were complaining about to begin with. I'm like, you're literally creating a whole horrible experience for everybody else.
And see, the sad thing about that whole situation that you just described,
I wanted to help her.
is that, you wanted to help her.
I wanted to help her,
But then
but she
you've
was so
got 8
angry.
people over here with phones that just pulled out their phones, took video of half of the situation, and it's now blown up and it's viral on whatever platform.
Yeah.
And people eat it up.
They do. Well, we're just, like I said, we're a society of naughty, and we lack a certain amount of morals and things like that. We're just not kind people, and unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
I try as best I can to look at the bright side of most things. And about a week ago, you may have seen, I posted on Facebook. I'm tired of Facebook.
Yeah.
This was right after the Super Bowl, and everybody was dissing Rihanna's performance on the Super Bowl. Was it the greatest Super Bowl performance halftime show? No. But did you really have to do all those things about mentioning about, yeah, she's pregnant and blah, 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 and this and that, and thinking that all those guys that were dressed in white look like Oompa Loompas? I mean...
People just always have shit to talk, but yet they can't even do half the things that most of other people do.
Be those persons that are out there dancing. Be Rihanna dancing on a freaking stage that's going up and down and she has no harness on.
Well, it's like the J-Lo one, and people were so upset, and I'm like, I wish, like, I can't, like, if I look that good at her like it's not even her age, she's just beautiful and stunning, and she has she's athletic, and she has these skills, and I think we get jealous. I think it's a lot of jealous envy and ego, and so that feeds into our comments,
and I mean, even outside of that, I think people are just looking for little things that you can nitpick to make into the next meme that makes you a lot of money because you're getting all these clicks, and that we're a click-based society. Don't get me wrong. This is a YouTube channel, and I want you to watch,
like and
right?
Subscribe.
But at the same time, I want to be very clear that, I only have 100 subscribers right now. And in fact, that's something I wanted to mention during this video.
I don't even,
I just got an email from YouTube that said, congratulations, you just got 101 subscribers. I went over 100, right? And I have been trying for 2 years to build this channel. And because, I would love it if I had 1,000 subscribers and I could monetize my videos and actually make, money off of YouTube. But at the same time, I don't care if I do either way, because I'm having fun just sitting here talking with you, drinking different drinks with people, and having people experience whiskey with me. That just happens to be my thing.
Yeah.
And thankfully I have a lot of friends that want to experience it with me, or at least participate in the experiment of, do I like this or not?
I think that's some of the good things and the bad things. Like, you can either become really hated, through something like this, or become almost like a superstar at such a very small level that almost doesn't matter,
Even people that do a lot of good through this platform, like Mr. Beast. Have you ever heard about him?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so I mean, he made, what was it, 1,000 people that had blindness. He paid for the medical stuff so they could see again.
Yeah.
I mean, but a lot of people are like, well, why do we live in a society that medical treatment shouldn't be that expensive, that these people couldn't have it without being free? But you're missing the point.
Well, that's exactly, it's the, remember when your parent used to say, if your friends jumped off of a bridge, would you jump too?
Right.
And so now I'm seeing my parent, even us, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to do this because that other person, or this other person did this, so why can't I do because it's all fucking shitty. It was shitty when they did it. It's shitty when you're doing it. It's just not okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's... It's frustrating.
It is. This is the way of the world right now.
It is.
But, you know what? I'm going to stop shitting on everybody now. Okay? Because...
Shit.
Yes, I'm gonna stop shitting on everybody.
Let it burn. Let the world burn.
I'm going to we're gonna wrap this up.
Yes.
Andrea, thank you so much for coming out here and spending some time and just airing out all of our shit today. And thank you guys for watching. This has been a very... I didn't know what to expect from this episode.
I didn't know either.
We had some topics that we started off with, and it just snowballed from there.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and I think some of the AI things were fun, but I think where we went was... I think because we have a certain dynamic, too. I think that this worked almost a little bit better than what the AI suggested, so that should tell you something.
We can extrapolate from what the AI said.
Right.
We can make it better.
Yes.
So.
All
right, guys. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Andrea, thank you for coming over. I hope you can continue to come over and we can have some more conversations like this.
Yes. Well, I'm better at medical things, clearly.
Yeah.
Or body things. Or just weird things. Like, ask me about this shirt. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
But maybe not.
So, guys, thank you for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode, and I promise that next time we'll actually talk about whiskey a little bit more.
Maybe. It was good. I like this drink.
Yes.
This drink is actually really good, so I recommend this.
Cool. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.